Got a lot to talk about with Big O. Starting a new weekly series for you guys. So let's jump into this. What is up, Finn fans? You're probably like, Doug, why is that? I'm moving it around. It tends to get in my way. I'm trying to find a good spot on my little desk position to put the microphone so I can type and stuff, interact with you guys, and not have a microphone down under here. I don't know. Just ignore it for now. If it looks like a giant nuisance here, then I don't know. But yes, today is episode 1. I don't think I'm going to number them, but me and Big O are going to be doing a weekly show throughout the season. Going to do it, record it Monday night. So I'm recording this Monday night. I'm probably wearing the same shirt as I did Monday's video. And then it'll be out Tuesdays. And we're going to break down what happened the game before. So in this one, we are going to be talking about the Buffalo Bills game. A lot of good stuff to talk about when it comes to the offensive line, to the coordinators, the head coach, the GM. We talk for about a half hour, maybe more, about some really good stuff. So I'm going to jump into that. But real quick, got to shout out my guys at patchvibes.com. Use the promo code DDW2. You get yourself 20% off. Fantastic patches, t-shirts, hats, all that good stuff. Check them out. And also Backroom Collections that will pop up. Wide variety of artwork they do. They're doing Jerome Baker signing. They're doing Zach Thomas signings. They're doing a ton of cool stuff. Use the promo code DDW. You get yourself 10% off. The link for both the websites are in the description below. Without further ado, let's jump into episode 1. I don't know. I'm not going to have a name. If you guys can come up with a name, maybe I'll use one of them and give you guys a shout out. But for the first episode of me and Big O's weekly collaboration. So let's jump into this because it's a long one. We are starting the new weekly series with the man, the myth, the legend, Big O. How are you feeling? I asked you before we started recording. We both kind of laughed about it, but 35-0. How you feeling?
See, here's the thing, dude. If this was Cam Cameron or, the late Sperano or Dave Wanstead, I'd be shitting bricks. But I watched this dude have an 0-17 with no talent whatsoever and teach them how to win and teach them how to Dougie. They went 5-4 and beat the Patriots at the end of the season. I watched them last year. I guess a lot of people don't remember we started 0-2 last year, right?
Yep.
Fitz played terrible. They went to Tua, then they went back to Fitz, all that kind of stuff. And they recovered from 0-2 and they went 10-4. So you're not going to get me to panic right now because I actually trust Flo. I may not agree with some of the things he did yesterday.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. I got into it on my show today. And then, also I want to share some perspective for people that maybe are on the ledge or on a bridge somewhere and they're freaking out. And I just don't think this is the time you do that right now. It's, if this happens for 3-4 weeks in a row, then yeah, now we know the wheels have come off and something's going on because, you should have made progress from year 1 to year 3. I saw Aaron Rodgers get his ass kicked last week, 38-3. You know what I mean? Bad games happen. Teams just have terrible games. And yesterday, there's no defending what went on yesterday. I'm not defending anything that went on yesterday. It was depressing. It was gut-wrenching. It was in the division. It was against the damn Bills. So it was at home. There was everything to be pissed off about. But I'm not that guy yet that gives up quickly and stuff. Hell, I'm in radio, bro. I mean, come on, man. I don't give up quickly, So I'm hanging in there and I'm hanging behind these guys. And I think they'll figure it out like they have already in the first 2 years that they figured it out. And they figured it out in year 1 in a worse situation that you could possibly be in. So I'm staying strong here. It just sucks, dude. That's all. It sucks.
Yeah. And
gotta move on.
You hit the nail right on the head. A lot of people forget about 2019 with essentially a glorified practice squad. Flores comes out and he
constantly taken from practice squads.
You're now starting. And they're like, wait, what? I thought I was just going to be a backup. No, man, you're going in there. Like Nick Needham, you're starting. And all of a sudden he's like, all right, well, what can I do? They beat the Colts. They beat the Eagles. They beat so take a deep breath.
They ended the The run for the Patriots.
They started putting that nail in that coffin.
Yeah, dude.
And the Titans came and they closed it.
Yeah.
But we've seen it before. Like, I'm not comparing this Dolphin team to any Patriot team, but I remember a few years where the Patriots started like 0-1, 0-2, lost to like the Chiefs, and people were like, "Oh, I don't know about these Patriots. They're fun." And then all of a sudden they just started getting that ball rolling. So I always give it to about week 4. That's when I start either panicking or saying, this is who we have. But yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. Looking at yesterday's game, a lot of people, not a lot, but some people want to blame Tua for a few of those sacks, not pointing out the blitzer. Obviously, no one is blaming Tua for the injury.
Jesse Davis was a matador on that play.
That one is
ole. What the hell has that anything to do with him, dude?
They sent 4 people on that play. They sent 4. The sacks before that, some people think that he should have pointed out Poyer's blitz. What is your thoughts on that? What is your thoughts on some of those sacks?
That's also the center's job, by the way. That people just seem to forget that. You know what I'm saying? They weren't picking up the blitz the entire game.
Yeah.
They weren't blocking for 4 quarters. Brissett got injured in that game yesterday. I don't know if you guys noticed, he got nicked up a little bit. He's just a big guy. And that's look, the only knock I ever had on Tua is durability.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
That's the only knock. And it reared its ugly head yesterday. This has been the MO for him. Most quarterbacks, that's hit wasn't that bad, but he's small and he's not a durable person. So unfortunately, this is what ends up happening. Look, one of the things I talked about on my show is Andrew Luck.
Yep.
And this is last night I'm sleeping, and in the middle of the night, like one of the 3 trips I have to go to the bathroom because of my prostate or whatever it is, because I'm 54. Too much information. I get it. But it came to mind. Think about this. I'm in the middle of the night, just going to take a leak, and Andrew Luck came in my mind. Not that I'm dreaming about Andrew Luck or anything like that. The Colts. Yeah, please unretire. Come to us. The Colts draft one of the generational young talents, and they fail to build the wall of Montezuma. Because when you draft a guy like that, please build the wall of Montezuma, and he's built like a redwood tree.
Yeah.
So you draft a fragile quarterback, and you put 4 or 5 young guys in front of him. That's where this is where philosophically now I am challenging the Dolphins a little bit. Dude, nobody breaks in 4 or 5 linemen at a time.
No,
maybe 1 or 2 sprinkled in with 3 veterans to guide them. You know what I mean, Dougie? And that's the problem with all of this, that you if you had more veterans in there, you could kind of hide things, you can guide things, you can help them. They look next to each other, and the next guy to them doesn't have any answers. He doesn't have a Pro Bowl or an 8-year veteran or a 10-year veteran. Yesterday I did the math in the game. Bills, left tackle 5 years, left guard 7 years, center 7 years, right guard 3 years, right tackle 7 years, 29 years. Miami's O-line 2, 3, 2, 5. Jesse Davis. Jesse has 5 of the 14 years. You have 9 years of experience, and really 4 of those years are this year. We're not even, it's like it's starting their second year. So you're talking, that's where the plan, I think, was a little faulty. It was aggressive. I understand it. Hey, we got to get through our O-line issues. Let's draft a bunch of guys. And I've been preparing Dolphin fans on my show for failure, because there's no GM in the world that's going to draft 5 guys and hit on all 5.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The math doesn't work. So 2 or 3 are going to make it, and 2 or 3 are going to lose. I don't know, out of those 5, you're only going to get, if you're a good GM, you're going to hit at least on 2 of those 5. If you hit on 3, you're an awesome GM. And you're going to, at least 2 are going to fail, but you got to play them. And that's the problem now. You're throwing them all out there. And with Tua, you should have gone out of your way.
Oh yeah.
To go find massive linemen that are already proven. If you have to overpay in free agency, overpay in free agency. How in the hell are you going to find out about your quarterback if he's on his ass all the time, or if he's running around? And so that's where philosophically I have issues with what they're doing now, because it's kind of the Andrew Luck thing. Andrew carried you all the way to the AFC Championship game with a crap team.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a terrible team overall when you really look at it. And yet he went one round deeper every year and was beating quality teams. I remember lazy fans would go, well, he's in that division. I don't care. Once he gets into the playoffs, he's
Whole different
beating
world.
people with less. And then eventually you beat him to a pulp that he just said,
Done.
you know, injury rehab pain. I'm tired of it. I'm done. And the thing about Andrew Luck is he's not going to go end up in Burger King later on telling you, would you like fries with that? He's super smart.
Yeah.
He's an intelligent guy. Went to Stanford. He's got skills. He doesn't have to play football. Plus, he already had money in the bank. He's gone. He's history. And Tua, it's not that he strives to do other things like this kid's a teacher. He wants to play football, but he's not going to play football long if you put him behind that line. And philosophically, that's where I think the Dolphins need to check themselves, and they need to help out this kid, because if not, you're never going to find out, because he's not durable. He's not Cam Newton. He's not Ben Roethlisberger. He's not even Andrew Luck.
Nope.
He doesn't have that kind of body. And that's where I have a problem with what they're doing. And they have to kind of fix that.
Yeah, again, hit the nail on the head, because I just talked about this in the video I put out today. Well, yesterday. People are watching this Tuesday. I put it out Monday, where I talked about you can't, like you said, you can't start with 5 guys that are learning, because you even brought up Jesse Davis, 5 years. He didn't even play the full game. They put Liam Eichenberg at right tackle, a first-year guy. And you look at Laramie Tunsil, who is the perfect example, right? A top 3, top 5 talent falls to us at 13. We draft him. The smartest decision the Dolphins did. We're going to take him. You're not going to play left tackle. We have Brandon Albert there. What we're going to do is we're going to take you and put you between Brandon Albert and Mike Pouncey, and you're going to learn from 2 of the best. And look at what happened to him. But now it seems like the Dolphins are like, we don't want to throw money at these guys. Lindsley,
they outsmarted themselves.
You know, we're going to draft to talent. Or if this talent's struggling, hey, Greg Little used to be a first-round pick. Let's throw a 7th rounder at him and see if he can. But you can't do. And look at the players that are around to a size. You know, Kyler Murray. He gets banged up easily too. He runs around like a chicken with his head cut off.
But at least with him, he has that. He's like a little water bug.
Exactly.
So you can't catch him. You know what I mean? He's elusive, like Jackson is for Baltimore, like Russell Wilson has been for years. Like Barry Sanders at running back, you couldn't get a shot at him. You know what I mean? Warwick Dunn had that knack too. That's not Tua. He's not that kind of athlete. Those are the elite athletes.
Yeah.
I know he's a good athlete, Tua. Actually, he doesn't get enough credit. He's a decent athlete. Now, he's not a great athlete.
No.
That's the difference there. Those guys are freaks. And in order to survive on this line, you have to be a freak, and that's not who he is.
No.
And that's the problem.
Looking back, and I talked about this in my post game. So the one thing that is underappreciated with that game is the defense. Now, we didn't get any pressure on Josh Allen, which they need to work on, because you can't have this quarterback or any quarterback running around for 5 seconds, because then the routes are going to get open. But after the first 2 touchdowns, this Dolphin defense stopped them for a quarter and a half. If the offense would have scored,
Miami should have led at halftime. They should have led at halftime.
100%, because we were in the red zone twice. Worst case scenario, halftime, we're tied up if the offense was moving. Do you think that like we were talking about with 2019 and even last year, how the defense kind of helped us win these games? Do you think with the defense playing the way it is, like I just found out that Derek Carr is banged up. He might not play next Sunday. Do you think this defense can do what they did 2019 and 2020, or do you think the offense needs to do something at some point?
Oh, no. The offense has to do something, because it demoralizes the defense, and that's what happened in the second half of the game, because they get that first drive and then they make it 21, and then it just becomes insurmountable at that point in time. So the defense, I definitely think, can do a better job, and will get. Look, here's the other thing that I'm going to mention. Every flow team so far gets better from the beginning of the season to the end of the season.
Yep.
So this is not the worst. This is the worst football probably they'll play. They'll get better from here on out. There's no doubt in my mind they'll correct issues. So I think they will get better. And I should hope that these guys have a lot of pride and they get pissed off and they really want to perform next week. You know what I mean? And if Tua plays, then that line should be playing with incredible urgency. And maybe that's maybe that's a good thing that the line might have to play with a little bit of an edge because there's even more desperation. Sometimes you'll have a young player come in because the veteran got injured, and then everybody else, their heightened awareness becomes just amazing because they know they got to help the young guy kind of overcome, and they kind of do a little bit more. And I'm hoping that some of that happens into next week. Now, let me give you something that, again, I'm having a little bit of an issue with. Okay. And yesterday reared its ugly head. And I've been talking, and this is something that I've been talking about on my show for months now. First of all, I'm going to go with Albert Wilson. I have no idea what the love affair has been with Albert Wilson. Never have I understood it.
I'm guilty of that too.
Well, I argued with many people, including my guy Omar Kelly, on this. He has never done anything. He doesn't have more than 4 touchdowns in a season. He has 700 total yards, 700 and something in 2 years with the Dolphins. He's been injured. He ran around for 10 days in shorts. And then you gave him a roster spot and you're counting on him, and it has not worked out. Then the other thing is, there is no bigger Jakeem Grant fan than I am. But I am realistic. I have said from the get-go, he's strictly a returner. Just like many returners in the history of the NFL have held a spot because they're returners. Larry Izzo, you never wanted as a linebacker. If he was in as a linebacker, it was over, dude. We were going to run him over. He wasn't going to cover anybody, nothing. But on special teams, he was going to make every tackle. Okay. So some guys, it doesn't matter, returners, gunners, there are guys that are specialists, and that's what he is. And I was excited about this wide receiving core because you had so many guys. You don't have to use Jakeem Grant anymore.
Yep.
Yet you use Jakeem Grant again. And he dropped the ball, and he doesn't drop it on returns. Notice, the problem is never on returns. The problem is always at wide receiver, and yet you played him. And then I sit there and I go, well, Mac Hollins has only proven to you toughness, hands, consistency, helps you on special teams. Albert Wilson doesn't do anything on special teams. Why does he have a roster spot? Why is your 5th, 6th, 7th wide receiver on your roster if he can't help you somewhere else, which I don't get? And then there's Kirk Merritt that I see some potential in the kid, and he's sitting there on the practice squad. But I would have played Mac Hollins, a bigger target for the quarterback, better hands than both those guys, tougher dude in traffic where you were at in the red zone. Dude, why aren't you using this guy? And so, again, this is where I got to lay it on Flo and the offensive coordinators, because you chose to be hard-headed and you chose to put Jakeem Grant in a position that he constantly fails for you. So you did not learn. And then you put Albert Wilson when Matt Collins has made more plays than Albert Wilson in the last calendar year for you, including that Raiders game where, Fitz was taking his head off, and Mac is the guy that made the catch for you. And during the preseason, Mac was really good. And so I'm going, well, wait a minute, hasn't this kid earned the respect? You know what I'm saying? So there were certain things that I did have an issue with. Again, I'm not here to tell you Flo, fire Chris Greer, fire the offense. That's silliness, okay? We can disagree on certain things that they do. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And those were some of the issues that they burned themselves with, okay? I can't excuse Devontae Parker. Dude, you got to catch that.
Oh, yeah, that's a touchdown all day.
That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And if he wasn't so injury prone, I'd make his ass run gassers till he fell down. But you can't make him run a couple gassers because he'll blow out both hamstrings. You know what I'm saying? But Devontae, come on, dude. You cannot fail this team. But the other two guys have no business being on the field playing at wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins when you have better options.
Yeah.
Those are things, the offensive line, those guys, those are things I had problems with.
And you a perfect point with Matt Collins, because there was certain plays, not even on Sunday, but the week before week 1, that if Matt Collins is in there, that touchdown pass to Albert Wilson that Mills just perfectly got his hand in and smacked that ball away. If you put Matt Collins there, he's taller, higher trajectory, probably can grab that. Mills might
He's the
smack him on
best.
the shoulder. It's still a touchdown. These are things that they need to look at. And
Hey, I could argue if Matt Collins was in place of Devontae Parker, he catches the ball.
yeah, exactly. And there was things that I talked about in my video that I wrote down that scratched my head. And we touched upon the offensive line. The other thing is, with these co-offensive coordinators, I'm realizing that it seems like they're not really utilizing Tua to the best of his ability. We look at the Cardinals game last year. I don't understand why they're not watching that film and seeing what Tua did best and try to utilize that in the playbook. I also realize they have not rolled Tua out at all.
Yeah, well, that's a great point, because I thought that they would change the launch point for him and move him around, because you have an unstable line.
Exactly.
So don't tell the defensive ends where you're going to be the entire time. So roll them out.
Roll them out to the left.
Or even mini rollouts. You don't have to go all the way where you drop back 5, but you shift just a couple of feet over.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And maybe you have a tight end come across the line and pick up an extra block, which I think you're going to have to go to more max protections this week from here on out, because you've got to deal with Ngakoue and that Max guy who's a freaking maniac.
Yep.
And so that's going to be a pain in the ass. And I'm with you there. It's a great call. I thought they were going to do it last week against New England. They didn't do it last week, and he was
they have a chance.
So 9 plays here. There wasn't really a feel for anything.
Because that's his biggest strength. That's where we saw him make such like precision throws when he's rolling to his left. We saw it against the Chargers with that pass to Gesicki where he's rolling to, just gets that ball off. And I don't understand why they're not utilizing his strengths. Maybe they'll start to do it. Why wait is my thing, especially if you're going against the Buffalo Bills. Do you think, now I don't think head coach wise, but do you think somebody's head is going to roll for a 35-0 loss? Do you think there'll be a change at the offensive line? Do you think Davis got injured? We don't know the extension. We hear that Grant and Davis.
Let me slow you down on that one. Jesse Davis doesn't need to start anymore.
Thank you.
Seriously, I love Jesse Davis. I love Jesse Davis as a sixth man. Okay, yeah. He's like Andrew Gardner, I think was his name, if I'm correct. That he played like 4 positions on the line and a solid player, but you don't want him starting. It's Larry Izzo. Great special teamer. You don't want him starting. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. And I like Jesse to fill in.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I like him to get you through this. You've gone this way now, bro. Throw Eckler in there and just let's find out which one of these guys can play by the end of the year. And that way you'll know where you need to draft again, because you will be drafting. Because I think a lot of fans have not thought about that. They look at all 5 and they all expect them all to, start performing. And they haven't realized that the numbers game is there's no way you hit on all 5.
No,
that's just not normal.
No.
So play Eichenberg already. You know what I mean? It's like Dieter's been sitting for 2 years practically. He played some his rookie year. They even moved him around and everything. Now they're playing him, and he's actually not. Hunt and Dieter are probably playing your best football. Out of all 5 guys. It's really the right tackle, the left tackle, and the left guard where you have a lot of inconsistencies overall. These 2 have been actually okay, but find out, because Hunt is the one guy that definitely is showing you like, okay, right now out of the 5, he's the one that is showing you that he's a keeper. But you have invested in Eichenberg. You have invested in Jackson. So let's find out about everybody. Play them already at this point. You got extra tight ends. You kept 67 tight ends, right? Well, some of them can actually block. Not named Shaheen, not named Gesicki.
Yep.
The other guys can, right? Well, then get them out there, get them doing it, because I saw Shaheen too yesterday. He was, doggy. He was half Matador also there. But again, Adam Shaheen is not here to block.
Exactly.
He's not here to take a vaccine. And Gesicki's not here to block. Okay, so there you go.
Okay, yeah. Threw that one in there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yes.
Look, do you see this Dolphin team going out and picking somebody up, making a trade for somebody? Because they have to, like we keep talking about, they have to do something, not only to make the team better, but to show the fan base, look, we're not that dumb. Like, do you see it more as a signing? Because DeCastro's still out there.
Yeah, I don't think it's a trade, because right now after this performance, they're going to want to, take advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to trade a pick, but I think they are going to they got to sign somebody, dude, or the dude they have on the practice squad, the veteran guy. You do something like that, but I think you've got to do something to help out this team and bring some experience. And I think they thought Fluker and Skura were going to do that. You know what I mean? That they would be two of the veterans that would start with three young guys, and then you bring in the rest of the guys. You'd ease Dieter in, but Dieter outplayed Skura from the get-go, and that tells you how bad Skura must be at this point in his career. And then Fluker got injured, and Fluker could still be an option for you, but not right now. You still have a few more weeks before you can possibly add him, and that he clears, the amount of time. I forgot what it is, 4-6 weeks or something like that he's got to clear in order not to be able to be eligible for that. So I would not be surprised if there's a move and they sign some kind of a free agent. Lord knows they have a roster spot. I mean, Albert Wilson's wasting a roster spot right now as we speak. Yeah. He has no business being here. Plus, you got Will Fuller back this week. Enough
exactly.
Already.
That's going to be huge.
They
got to get hopefully he gets time to actually have Will Fuller, run a route before you get the ball to him. Talking a lot about the offense. Last thing we're going to talk about, we're going to flip it over to the defense. Mm-hmm. We talked about, they did pretty well. They unfortunately gave up the 2 touchdowns, shut it down for a quarter and a half. There is that run defense, and there is getting after the quarterback. Do you see, and I'm hearing Orlando Roberts got banged up, do you see the potential of bringing back Benardrick McKinney? Like, do you see that as a possibility?
Well, the problem with these kind of guys, and that's why they didn't keep Landon and Benardrick McKinney, is because they're two down linebackers. Mm-hmm. And so if they scheme you and they get them in coverage, you're screwed.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that's the problem there. And I think that's what they didn't want. They didn't want to expose and have too many weaknesses at that spot. And so if Landon Roberts is done and McKinney's available, I can see them doing that. But I doubt they're going to have both guys there, because that kind of exposes you. And you can only play one of them, Lord knows, unless it's, a goal line situation or a really, 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 and all that. Then you bring in the Hogs in there, because those guys will be great against the run. But listen, do we start a drinking game now on the first play of the game, a 35-yarder guaranteed? I mean, that's the other thing this defense has got to come on, dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, you cannot open the game every time with a long-ass run. The good thing is 2 weeks ago, that long-ass run led to a punt anyways.
Yeah.
But last week, yesterday, it was that led to a touchdown drive. But it's not the way you want to start off any of these games. And the defense has to come in, but I will give them a lot of credit, man. They did everything possible in that first half to get the Dolphins back in, and all they had to do was score. Yeah. I mean, look, nothing went right. X got burned a couple of times on the deep ball, on the touchdown by Emmanuel Sanders. If you watch it, he slips, X stays, and then Emmanuel cuts back, and that's how he gets the touchdown. X did not come back with him and stay with him, because he was going with him the entire time, and he did not come back, and Emmanuel was alone. It was a touchdown. He also dropped an interception. Not only did he catch one, but he also dropped one. It was a crap day all around. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was one of those days where nothing went right. And that's where also, to a certain extent, I've got to just throw it out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, because it was just so bad on every level. And I know that's not what this team is. Mm-hmm. I know that's not what this coach is. So this is the aberration, not the norm. And that's why I can't panic about this and overreact. And I know we've got people, hey, Tua sucks and he's done and he's short and this and that. And they every time they describe his characteristics, they describe Drew Brees. It's funny as hell. You know what I mean? It's just like hilarious.
Who Drew Brees also broke his ribs when he got sacked. Like, it's
yeah. And they describe Bob Greasy too when they describe him. Actually, he's a better athlete than Greasy is. But what I'm saying is Greasy wasn't a strong arm guy either. Mm-mm. And so I get it. People want Tua done. They hate Greer. Fire Flow. He's an idiot. 2 offensive coordinators are morons. And I'm going, well, what did the offensive coordinator have to do with Albert Wilson dropping the balls? They called the right play.
Yep.
They called the right play for Jakeem Grant. They called the right play for Devontae Parker. I'm not sure. I mean, Jesse Davis had the guy right in front of him, and he said, "Ole, ole," and then it was over. So it's really like lazy. Oh, well, it's the offensive coordinators. No, it's not actually. It's just a bad performance overall, and we just got to chalk it up to a bad performance. In a couple of weeks that you and I do this, if this continues, then the rage will go up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
But right now, at this point in time, I mean, I'm just not going to overreact. They got a great track record.
Yeah. It's so funny too, because it was just a perfect storm. I live in New Jersey, and Hurricane Sandy was that. It was high tide. It was the cold coming from the top, the warm coming from, and it was that perfect storm to make Hurricane Sandy and ruined my week with no power. That's
Climate
what this
change.
was.
Climate change too, by the way.
That's essentially what this was.
To it because New York's already flooding like Miami is. Like a lot of the cities that are right on the water. It's like there's a little bit of rain, and all of a sudden, all those cities that are right on the edge of the water. Oh, wow, our sewers aren't holding anything up. I wonder why. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
But I think that's why people lost it yesterday. Because I keep saying, if it was a 35-0 loss to Tampa in Tampa, people are going to be like, well, it's the Super Bowl champions. It's because it was home, the home opener. It was Buffalo. We hate Buffalo. And people don't want to give Buffalo as much credit as they deserve. They went to the AFC Championship last year. Buffalo is a good football team.
It's Buffalo or Kansas City going to the Super Bowl, dude.
So
that's the way I've looked at it from the beginning of the year. The only team that can really challenge Kansas City is Buffalo, because they're good enough and they can punch them in the mouth. And let me tell you something. The only thing that might be a little wrench in the whole thing, and maybe he fine-tunes it, Josh Allen was not accurate.
Oh, he's the old Josh Allen came back.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, if you watch the 2 games that he's played against Pittsburgh and Miami, he has not been accurate. So I'm not sure if it's just one of those things that's early season and he'll get back, or is he showing some of the stuff that it was going on? Because if you watch the game, he was off, dude.
Yeah.
He wasn't really on target, and they walloped them. Buffalo's a good team, man. They've been at this for 5 years in this build. You gotta give them props, okay? As much as we all hate them and all that stuff, we have to separate the two things and give them their props.
100%. But I'm excited. This is episode 1. I don't even know if we're gonna number these episodes. First,
let me add one more thing before we wrap it up here, okay? You're getting a lot of hate for Greer, aren't you?
Oh yeah, tons of it.
Okay. I'm going to tell you all you Dolphin nations out there, if you heard my show today, then you know what I said, and I'm going to kind of repeat it here. But I'm going to tell you something that's going to bother you to your core. But if you take a moment and you listen to me and you pay attention, you're going to go, yeah, I got to slow down. And this is specifically for all you, I hate Greer and he sucks and all this stuff. Rick Spielman made a lot of mistakes here with Dave Wanstead, and he was in the middle of a constant political battle and all that stuff, and it never worked out, and he left. And then he went to Minnesota, and he climbed the ladder to GM, and he's built a really good team in Minnesota for several years now. He hasn't solved the quarterback issue. Now, that is a mystery for everybody in the league that is really hard to solve. But overall, his teams have been incredibly competitive, offensively, defensively, lots of talent. He has become a good GM overall. I've had several people on my show that cover the New Orleans Saints, and they will swear by everything that's out there, not from the Saints organization, people that cover the Saints. Jeff Ireland has been the difference maker for them for several years now since he joined them. Understand this. We had GMs that came here and they were in political battles with their coaches and everything else that was going on. Ireland with Sperano, Ireland with the redheaded lady and Joe Philbin and all this stuff. And it was just a mess, and Parcells and all that. And it was just a power struggle. The same thing with Spielman and Wanstead, power struggle at the end. They took away the power from Spielman. They gave it to Wanstead, and it was just a mess. I covered all this stuff. They were young. They made their mistakes. Then they went on to other places and learned from their mistakes and became better GMs. Relax on Chris Greer. He's only been in this position starting in his third year as full-time and in charge of everything. And he's done a really good job overall.
Yeah.
Don't allow a loss to cloud what's going on and convince you that everything is wrong when everything has trended the other way. It's trended up.
Mm-hmm.
So have patience. We've made this mistake a couple of times now, post Shula. Okay. And 2 guys left and actually did better in other places. And there's a reason why. They went to other places with no politics in the way. And they were able to then learn from their mistakes. These guys are going to make mistakes. The 5 offensive linemen, probably a mistake right now, putting that much youth up front. Okay. You live, you learn. Most of us that start a business, we have to make mistakes along the way to learn how to run our business. When you start a new job, a new career, you're not the same person at the beginning of your career than a couple of years down the line and 10 years down the line. You're not the same lawyer when you walk in the courtroom for the first time and then the 100th time. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we have to give these gentlemen, Flo, Greer, and everybody else some time to really do this job the right way. But we also have to understand no one's going to come in and make every perfect decision. And so that's what I tell all of you out there that are in the hate Greer and hate Flo and all that. Slow down. They've done a lot of good things. Give them time. We're only 2 years and 2 games into this rebuild. We must show patience, and we must give them the opportunity to get out of this hole and figure it out. And by the way, the hole is 1-1. It's not the end of the world, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the end of the world. So just a little patience.
I think every week we should end with you giving everyone a big hoosah. Just listen to what Big O has to say.
Not if they lose 5 in a row or 6 in a row. I don't know if I can find it.
No more hoosah, more mother.
Yeah. Just, take it easy, man. Take it easy.
But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, this is going to be a weekly thing. But Big O, you have this fantastic show. Let them know where they can find it.
Thank you. Keith Sims, by the way, will be on with us tomorrow morning at 11:30 Eastern, talking offensive line. Or Tuesday morning today, will be joining us at 11:30 today. So we talk we talk all sports, obviously locally of South Florida, but Dolphins are always the center of the universe on the show. And we're on at 10 Eastern till about 1 Eastern. Sometimes I talk a lot, so maybe I'll go to 1:30, 1:40, 2 o'clock. Who knows? That's how it goes. Plenty of guests, more Dolphin insiders than any show locally in South Florida. We trash the local stations. They're not even close to us. I used to work for them. So come on over and join us at Big O Radio Show. You can find it on all platforms. We're on YouTube Live every day. Then it's podcasted. So please search Big O Radio Show on most platforms, and you will definitely find it there. And I appreciate all of you out there for always supporting us.
Definitely. Well, we will see you next week, hopefully after a fantastic win against the Las Vegas Raiders. Real quick before we get out of here, how many times have you called them the Oakland Raiders since they moved?
Oh, God, several times. I still say the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I still get caught with that. The Los San Diego Chargers.
All the time.
All the time, dude. I mean, I grew up with that. The Rays thing, I've kind of adjusted because they really don't matter much. But the other ones, I still screw up every once in a while. You know what I mean?
How long did it take you to stop calling them the Baltimore Colts?
Oh, yeah. I was a kid when that was going on. Yeah, exactly. Definitely when that move happened. Yes, definitely, man. Yeah, what a shame.
We will see you next week, bud.
You got to be good. Fins up.
Fantastic. I'm so excited to have Big O on, and the fact that he agreed to do a weekly show with me is a staple in South Florida, especially when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, and the knowledge that he has to be able to share it with me and you guys. I'm over the moon that I get to do this every week with him. very excited for the future of this. But comment below. We talked about a lot. Let me know what you guys think about everything we talked about. Like I said, this is the first episode. If you guys like it, hit the subscribe button. Check out the Big O Show. Like you said, every day, 10 o'clock. Go over on YouTube. Tell him DouglieDoWrong sent you. Show him some love. I'm, again, awesome that he's doing this with me, and he's awesome. The conversations we have before we start recording are fantastic. So go over there, show him some love. Other than that, guys, I will see you tomorrow, hopefully with the film breakdown. And then Thursday is the picks. Friday is the preview. I get to breathe on Saturday. I get a day off on Saturday. And then Sunday, 4:05. Yep, in Las Vegas. So other than that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. But like usual, stay classy. And fins up.